Hi, I'm Eric McGuire, and today we're going to go over some of the basics of playing notes on the guitar and playing simple chord. So for this demonstration, you can use a classical, an acoustic, an electric guitar, anything that has 6 strings, but you do need to note that you can't use a bass guitar for this demonstration. Now I recommend that you need a pick. You can use your thumb if you want to, but a pick, in my opinion, is just a little bit easier. So the first thing we'll go over is how to hold the guitar correctly. Now this is where a lot of people make mistakes in the very beginning because they don't know how to hold the guitar to get their fingers to stretch out at the maximum amount of reach, and they can't reach certain frets on the guitar because of that, and they have bad technique with their left hand. So you need to be holding the guitar, assuming you're a right-handed player, on your right leg up against your chest as flat as you can get it. You don't want to have the guitar leaning like this. You definitely don't want it leaning like that. You want it flat against your chest. Now a lot of people will hold it kind of like this because they can see the frets easier that way. That's not really the best way to hold it. You want it flat up against your chest, and you want to take your right arm kind of where it pivots around your inner elbow and hang it over the edge of the guitar body right there. And then you want to have your hand next to the strings. With your left hand, that's going to come up under the neck so that the neck rests on the inner part of your palm, and your left fingers are coming over the bottom of the neck onto the strings. So now that you've got it positioned correctly, we'll go into how to play a note. Now, most guitarists count from the bottom string up to count the strings. That meaning that this bottom string is the first string. That's the second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth in an upward motion towards you. And with that, you can also count the frets. Now, a fret is any spot in front of this metal fret wire. So this part right here is the first fret, and then the second, the third, fourth, fifth, and so on. Now, combining those two pieces of information, we can actually pinpoint where we want to put one of our fingers on the guitar. So if I told you to play the first string on the third fret, you could take your index finger, put it right here where the first string is and where the third fret is, and then just play the first string. And according to NOAD, that's a G note. Now, putting multiple of those notes together, you can actually play what's called a chord. So, for this demonstration, we're going to play the D chord. Now, Johnston states that chords are the fundamental vocabulary of a guitar player, and I would agree completely with that. They're used in all kinds of music, especially rhythm guitar uses them constantly. They're a very good supporting piece of music. So for this, we'll learn a D chord. Now, to play a D chord, you're going to put your first finger on the third string of the second fret, your second finger on the first string of the second fret, and your third finger on the second string of the third fret. And then you play the bottom 4 strings. And it should sound something like that. Now, most people are not going to get this their first time. It takes a lot of practice. Chords are especially difficult on your fingers, and especially difficult to finger correctly. My recommendation is to take your left hand, finger the chord, and then play each string individually to check and see if you're getting sound out of each one. And if you're not, you'll be able to tell. Now, if you kind of get that buzzing, it's because your fingers aren't close enough up to the fret wire. You have to make sure they're close up to the fret wire so that you get all the sound out. At least you need to be keeping them somewhere near the middle. And like I said, that'll probably take some practice in order to get correctly. You're probably not going to get your first try, or maybe even your first day, but after some amount of time you will. And actually, Sanderco states that your first chord's probably going to hurt a little bit, and I would agree with that, and that it'll probably take about a month of playing guitar and playing these chords until you get to the point where your fingers don't hurt anymore. But after a couple of weeks, they'll toughen up a little bit, and it won't hurt as much. But if it ever starts to hurt, you need to stop playing. Now, knowing that chord, you can go into many other different styles of music to use that technique, and many more advanced techniques use chords such as finger picking and rhythm. So they're very important to learn, and in my opinion, they're one of the most important things to learn from the beginning because they help toughen up your fingers so much, and they help get your hand a lot more dexterity. So I hope you've enjoyed going over the basic notes of the guitar with me and a simple chord.